Okay, now we have the Venn diagrams or the charts. We would have some examples some questions in the exam about charts or biograph or diagrams, Venn diagrams, and some stuff like that. Okay, so we have also some charts or Venn diagrams in the exam, and we were asked to answer some questions about these charts or this diagram. Let's see, for example, here, a class of 85 students and 40 students studying computers. 25 students studying English. How many students study both subjects together? So if we can write these situations in a Venn diagram, so we would write something like that. Here we have 30 students studying computer. So let's see, this is for computer, where we have 40 students. And this is for the English class where we have 25 students. And we're asked here to find out how many students study both subjects together. Since the total is 85, okay, and the numbers that we have here is 40 and 25, so 40 plus 25 equals 65, but the total is 85, which means 85, which means here we have minus 65, we have 20 students missing, which they will be in the middle of the Venn diagram. That means they are studying both subject, English and computer. So the answer is 20. Let's see another example here. A class of 75 students. Okay, 41 students participate in social activity, and 22 students participated in sport activities, and 9 participate in both. So here is 9. How many students did not participate in any of the activities? So if we add all the students, 41 plus 9 plus 22, okay, we would have here this 41 plus 9 is 50. 50 plus 22 is 72. But here the total of the student is 78. So we have 6 students are not in any of the activities. So this is the answer. Okay, we have here a graph that shows monthly expenses and saves of Ahmed and his family. If you know that his monthly salary is 5,000 riyal, how much does he spend on food? So if you have a look here, okay, they just divide the circle to, as you can see, to the expenses of food, bills, houses, rent, and saving. Here we have school. Here we have entertaining. This color is for entertaining, and this is for transportations. Okay, so let's see how much does he spend in food. So we want food, which is this one, X. Okay, so since the other values, they give us the other values in percentage. That means if we add all those values together, they should give me 100. So 11 plus 11 plus 2x plus 3 plus 14 plus 25 plus x equal 100. Okay, and we're asked here to find out x. Now 2x with x is a 3x, and we will add those values together. So 3x plus, this is 22. 22 with a 3 is 25. With a 25 is 50. With 14 is 64. So 64 equal 100. Now we will solve this as a linear equation. So 3x equal 100 minus 64. So 3x equal 100 minus 64 is 36. Then we'll divide both sides with 3, so x equal 12. Okay. So now x equal 12, but since it is out of 100, so 12%. Now we gotta find the exact values or the exact amount of x. So 12 of 100 of the 5,000. Okay, because it's 12% of the 5,000. This is my x. So now we will cancel this 2 with this 2, then we will times 12 with 50. So 5 times 2 is 10, and 5 times 1 is 5, with 1 is 6. So the answer is 600. So the first things here you can do is just to find out what is the unit that you have. Is it percentage? So you gotta add everything and equal 100. But if it's degree, so you will add everything and then you equal it to 360, because the sum of the angles in the circle equal 360. And then after you find out this part, you gotta times it with the total numbers or the salary or whatever you have in the question. Okay. In sequence and series, we have the sequence. The general definition of sequence is a list of numbers or objects in a special order. Let's see this example. We have 3, 5, 7, 9. We can see that those numbers sitting in a special order, if we add 3 with 2, we will get 5. Then if we add 5 with 2, we will get 7. Then if we add 7 with 2, we will get 9, and so on. So we'll get each numbers by adding 2. Okay. The series is when we add the terms of the sequence together. This is the series. So you can see that you have plus in between the numbers in the series, but while in the sequence you have just comma. So when you're adding values in the sequence together, we will get the sum, which called series. Okay. There is an examples of sequence where we have arithmetic sequence and we have geometric sequence. In the arithmetic sequence, we have a special difference between each two terms. For example, 1, 3, 5, and so on. So we add 2. There is 2 between each two terms, but when the geometric, we have a ratio between each two terms. For example, 4, 2, 1. You can see that if I divide 4 with 2, I get 2. Then 2 divided by 2 equal 1. So it seems like I times this with 1 over 2. I times this with 1 over 2. Then the next one by timesing 1 with 1 over 2. So I will get 1 over 2 and so on. Okay. So what is the fifth term in the sequence? So not necessarily that this sequence is geometric or arithmetic. Okay. So let's see here. 3 becomes 5, and then 5 becomes 9, then 9 becomes 17. So 3 becomes 5 when I add 2, then when I add here I can add 4, then here I add, as you can see, I add what? 8. So it seems like I double the values that I added every time. So here I should double 8 to 16, then I plus 16 with 17. So 16 plus 17 is 23. So the answer is 23. Okay. We have also the ratio, the proportion, and the percentage. For example, if two students scored marks 60 and 70 in the mathematics, the ratio between these two marks is 6 to 7. So it's 60 to 70, but we usually write it in the simplest form, so we write 60 to 70. If the investment for two persons, X and Y, in the business are 40,000 and 30,000 respectively, then the ratio would be 4 to 3. So as we said, we have to simplify this to the lowest term. So 4 to 3. Okay. So we have the direct proportionality in which the change in the first variable is related to the change in the second variable in the same direction. So if the first variable increased, the second variable would increase. If the first variable decreased, the second variable would decrease also. An example, if Fatma has finished reading 8 parts of Quran in 1 hour, how many parts can she finish in 3 hours? So this is a direct proportionality. Why? Because when she increase the days, she will read more. When she increase the hours, she will read more. Okay, so you can write this in this form here. Finished 8 parts in 1 hour. So 8 in 1 hour. So how many parts can she finish in 3 hours? How many parts in 3 hours? So we can just cross multiple. So 8 times 3 over 1 equal my x. So 24. X equal 24. Okay. While the inverse proportion, in which if the first variable is related to the change of the second variable in the opposite direction. If the first variable increased, the second variable would decrease. So the direction would be opposite. For example, if 3 workers can finish the work in 12 days, how many days would it take if 9 workers, we just hire 9 workers? So in this case, now what does it mean a ratio? A ratio is a comparison of numbers that can be expressed as a fraction. For example, if I have 18 boys and 12 girls in the class, so we could compare the numbers of boys to the numbers of girls by saying there is a ratio of 18 to 12. And we can write that and represent it in 3 different ways. The first way is to write 18 to 12. The second way is write 18, then 12. Then the third way is to write 18 over 12. Okay. For example, here I have, if 2 students scored marks 60 and 70 in mathematics, the ratio of their marks would be 6 to 7. So I usually write the numbers after I simplify them in the simplest form. Also here, if the investment of 2 persons, X and Y, in a business are 40,000 and 30,000 respectively, the ratio of their investment would be 4 to 3. So a ratio is always expressed in a simplest form, and the order of the terms in the ratio is very important. For example, the ratio 4 to 5 does not equal the ratio 5 to 4. This is the ratio, for example, of the numbers of girls to the numbers of boys, but here the ratio of the numbers of boys to the numbers of girls, so they are totally different. The terms also of the ratio is multiplied or divided by the non-zero numbers. For example, the ratio of 2 to 3 is same as the ratio of 4 to 6. As you can see here, we multiply both with 2, so we got 4 to 6, so it's fine. There is no ratio between the marks of the students and the salaries of the teachers. So if we want to compare between 2 values, they should have the same qualities and the same kind. Okay, in a ratio, the qualities to be compared also must have the same unit. Okay, so it's not enough to compare between 2 values that have the same quality, but also they should have the same unit. For example, if I compare between 2 qualities, the weight of 2 qualities, Okay, they should have the same unit, both, for example, gram or both kilogram. I can't compare between 500 gram and 3 kilogram. Okay. Okay, so also here we have for the proportion, we have the direct proportion and the inverse proportion. For the direct proportion, the change in the first variable is related to the change with the other variables, and they have the same direction. For example, if the first variable is increasing, the second variable is also increasing. And if the first variable decreasing, the second variable is also decreasing. So they have the same direction. But for the inverse proportion, if the first one is increasing, the second one will decrease. Okay, let's see an example of the direct proportion. For example, if Fatma has finished reading the 8 parts of the Quran in 1 hour, how many parts can she finish in 3 hours? So since she will read more time, so she will read more parts of Quran, of course. So we can write here the part, here the time. So the first relation is between parts and time is, as you can see here, 1 hour, 8 parts. So you can write here 1, 8. And the second time, she will finish in 3 hours. So I'll write 3 under T and here X. So in this case, to find out X, all what I have to do here is just to do the cross multiple. Okay? So my X here is 8 times 3 over 1, which is 24. Okay, an example about the inverse proportion, 3 workers can finish work in 12 days. Imagine that you have workers in your home and you want to finish the work faster than 12 days. Okay, so you would just increase the number of workers. So in the first case, you have 3 workers in 12 days. This is the workers, this is the days. In the second case, you have 9 workers, and the question asking about how many days they will finish. So of course, if you increase the number of workers, the numbers of days will decrease. So in this case, okay, I will use the inverse proportion where I will times this together and this together. So my X in this case is 3 times 12 over 9. Okay, of course here I can cancel this 3 with one of this 3, then this 3 with this 3. I will left with 4. So they will finish in 4 days instead of 12 days. If A to B equal 4 to 5 and B to C equals 7 to 9, then find A to B to C. So in this case, I will just arrange the given information, this 4 to 5, and then B to C. So I'll write B under here to C equal 7 to 9. Okay? So in total, I will have this shape A, B, C. Okay, but I can't write this right up because I have here the different middle value, as you can see. So I'm trying to let the middle values same. So all what I have to do here is to times these values, all these values with 7, and times all these values with 5. So let's rewrite this after multiplying. So A to B equal 28 to 35. And the second one, B to C, equal 35 to 45. So now I can combine this together. So A to B to C equal 28 to 35 to 45. So I would write A to B to C equal 28, 35, 45. The angle of triangle are in the ratio 3 to 4 to 5. What is the largest angle? So in the question is given the ratio of the angles, and we can think of that as a parts. So the first angle, which is, for example, A number 1, has 3 parts. The second angle has 4 parts, while the third angle has 5 parts. And you know, in any triangle, the sum of the angles is 180. Okay, so the largest angle would be, of course, the angle with 5 parts. So let's see if I have here parts, and here I have degree. Of course, the largest angle is the angle with 5 parts, and we don't know what is the degree. We can write this as x. And the total parts that I have here is 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is 12. And the total degree that we have of the triangle is 180. Okay, so how can we find x? By doing the cross multiple. So x equal 180 times 5 over 12. We can simplify this by, for example, here 12 is 6 times 2, and 180 is 6 times 2 times 3 times 10. Okay, this 6 would cancel this one, and 5 with 2 is 5 here. So we're left with 3 times 5 times 5, which is 75. Okay, a percentage, we are looking here for a part out of 100. So it's similar to the ratio, but here we will change the second part to be 100. So let's see an example here. If we said 9% of what number is 36. So the first things you have to draw here is the table, where you put first column for the part, second column for the all. So the part for this number here is 9, here is 100, and of what number is 36? That means we want all. So here x, here 36. And then we do the cross multiple. So my x here is 36 times 100 over 9. Of course, we will simplify 36 with 9. We will get 4, so 400. So my answer is 400. Here x is 400. So 36 is a part of 400, same as 9 is a part of 100. Okay. Also another example. Let's take another example. We have if 30% of number x is 48, then what is 70% of that number? Okay, so let's write this in a formula. So 30%, that means 30 out of 100. Of means times x, as means equal 48. So first we have to find x. What is x? So x here equal 48 times 100 over 30. Okay, same things if I want to find out by using my table, where I put here part and all. So 30% means 30 out of 100. And of x is 48, so I put here 48 and here x. So my x here is 48 times 100 over 30, same things. So now I'm trying to simplify these values. Then I will work on the other part. So 70% of x. What is 70%? 70%, so 70 out of 100 of x equal what? So I will just replace x, or substitute the values of x with the value that I just found over here. So 70 out of 100, then I will put the value of x, which is 48 times 100 over 30. And now I'm trying to simplify the values here. This 100 will be cancelled with this 100. This 0 would be cancelled with this 0. Okay. And then I will left with 7 times 48 over 3. Of course, I can also simplify 48 with 3. Okay. So you can do, if you want, you can do a long division. This would be 1, 3, 1, 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 16. Okay, 16. So now you have to multiply 16 with 7. So 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. So the answer is 112. Which of the following values can be 60% of x? So 60%, as we said, 60% means 60 out of 100. Of means times. X, I'll write x. So this is the value. And which one of those equal this value? Of course, it's not A, because we're missing here 1, 0. And it's not B, because if we cancel this 0 with this 0, I'm left with 6 over 10x. Okay, which is this one. It's not 60x, because there is no place, the denominator is not there. Okay. Okay, another question. If 60 equal 15% of x, so x equal what? Okay, so 60 equal 15%, so 15 over 100 of x. So we can directly solve this one. Okay, so to solve this one, it just to times both sides with 100 over 15. So my x here equals 60 times 100 over 15. I know that I have 4 of the 15 and 60. So I can cancel this 15 with this 15. Then I will times 4 with 100, which equal 400. Okay. Now the profit and the loss. Some questions are also I'll always ask about the profit and the loss, and I recommend you to just use this table to find out the profit or the loss. Okay, you can just put 100, and here the old price. And then if you have a profit, you add the percentage with the 100 to get the new price. And if it's loss, you subtract the percentage with the 100 to get the new price. And here the x is for the percentage. Okay. And also to find out the percentage of change is to subtract both price that you have in the numerator, then divide it by the original price in the denominator, then times it with 100. The price of rice increased from 162 to 80. Calculate the percentage of the increasing. So as you can see here, we have two prices. This is the old one, this is the new price, and it's increased. So to calculate the percentage of an increase, we will subtract the prices, then we will divide by the old one or original price, then we will times it with 100. This is the percentage. So 280 minus 160 is 120 over 160 times 100. Now let's simplify this. You can see that this 0 will cancel this 0, and 16 is 4 times 4, 12 is 3 times 4, 4 would be cancelled. We will left with 3 over 4 times 100. You can think of this as a 3 over 4, 3 over 4 of 100 is 75, or also you can just factorize 100 to 4 times 25, then 4 would cancel with 4, and then times 3 with 25 and give you 75. So the increasing price is 75%. It's increased by 75%. Okay, the price of a book increased from 80 to 100. Find the percentage of change. So same things, to find out the percentage of change, we will subtract the prices, divide by the original one times 100. So 100 minus 80 is 20 over 80 times 100. Now we can cancel this 0 with this 0. 2 over 8 is 1 over 4 times 100. What is fourth of the 100? Fourth of the 100 is 25. So it's 25%. Okay, in the scale drawing, so we always find the scale of drawing by using this formula: the height on the drawing divided by the actual height over the scale. Let's see here this example. I draw a minaret at a scale of 1 to 300. So its height on the drawing was 6 centimeters. Find the actual height. So you can think of it like here is for drawing and this is for the actual. So in the first case, in the first information here, it says that the scale is 1 in the drawing, for 300 in the actual. So here it says what is the actual. So this is x if the drawing is 6. So do cross multiple. So my x would be 6 times 300 over 1, which is 3 times 6 is 18. So it is 1800. Sorry, this is a mistake here. Okay. Okay, now we have some questions about movement and physics. This is the most popular formula that you might need in the exam. The distance between two vehicles moving in opposite distance. For example, if the first vehicle moved to, let's see here we have the first city A. Okay, in the exam also we would have some questions about movement and physics, and this is the most formula that you might need in the to solve the questions. The first one, to find the distance between two vehicles if they are moving in different or opposite direction. Let's see, for example, I have vehicle A move from the right to the left, or the left to the right, and vehicle B move from the right to the left. And the question is to find out what is the distance between them after, for example, specific time. So you have to use this formula to find out the distance. You have to add the speed and then times it with the times. But for the distance between two vehicles that are moving in the same direction, for example, the first vehicles move to this side and the second vehicles move to the same side, but they have different speed. So to find out the distance after specific times, we will subtract the speed and then times it with the time. Also, you might be asked to find out the average speed, and you can find the average speed by using these two formulas. Depends on what's the information that is given in the question. Okay, so the first one is to times 2 with the speed number 1 with the speed number 2, then divided with the sum of the speeds. And the second formula is to sum the distance and divided by the sum of the time. Okay, now let's see this question. 2 cars start at one point. Okay, this is the point. In the same direction. So the first one is here and the second one also here. And time. So that the speed of the first car is 80 and the speed of the second car is 60 kilometer per hour. So what is the distance between the two cars in an hour after their departure? So this is the distance that the question asked me for. So to find out the distance, we said since they have the same direction, as you can see, same direction, we subtract the speed and then multiply it with the time. So 80 minus 60, then 1 hour, and make sure here you have this hour and here also you have the same unit. So times 1, which equal 20. So the answer is 20. So they will be 20 kilometers far away from each other's after 1 hour. Okay. Okay, for this question, 2 cars starts from one point at the same time and opposite direction. So here we have opposite directions, so that the first speed is 50 and the second speed is 70. After how many hours? So here they want t, or the time. The distance between them would be 240. So the question, the formula is d equal speed number 1 plus speed number 2 times t. So let's just substitute the values of each letters that we have. Here we have the distance is 240, the speed number 1 is 50, speed number 2 is 70, and time is the missing value. So to find out t, it means to divide 240 over 50 plus 70, which is 120. So we would cancel this together. We will have 2 hours.